Master these 13 science-backed habits to think faster, learn better, and grow smarter. The hidden code of intelligence. How mastering these 13 habits transforms your mind like a supercomputer. Let me ask you something. How often do you think about the way you think? Not just what you think, but how your mind works, how fast it processes, how well it learns, how deeply it understands. What if I told you that intelligence isn't fixed? That your ability to learn and think isn't just a matter of talent, but a system, one you can upgrade like software? And not just in small ways. Imagine increasing your processing speed, absorbing knowledge like a sponge, and making razor-sharp decisions effortlessly. We're not talking about magic. We're talking about science-backed habits, 13 of them, that have been proven to rewire your brain for maximum efficiency, clarity, and adaptability. And today, we're going deep. This isn't just another productivity hack list. It's a full-blown operating system for your mind. And by the end of this, you'll walk away with a framework that could change the way you approach learning, thinking, and growing forever. But first, let's test something. Pause for a moment. Try to recall what you had for breakfast last Tuesday. Not today. Not yesterday. Last Tuesday. Got it? If not, don't worry. That's just your brain showing you the limits of its current system. But those limits, they can be reprogrammed. So let's begin. Habit number 1, learn to think in models, not just facts. Most people try to memorize information, but memorization is like collecting puzzle pieces without ever seeing the big picture. The world's greatest thinkers, from Einstein to Musk, don't just collect facts. They build mental models, frameworks that allow them to simplify complex problems, predict outcomes, and think faster under pressure. A mental model is a shortcut for decision-making. Instead of analyzing every piece of new information from scratch, your brain recognizes patterns and applies existing frameworks. Think of it like chess. A grandmaster doesn't calculate every possible move. They recognize structures on the board and instantly know what's likely to happen next. The question is, how many mental models do you have? If I asked you to make a major decision whether to start a business, invest in a new idea, or choose between 2 careers, would you have frameworks to guide you? The more models you build, the faster and smarter you think. And we'll return to this later. Habit number 2, read like a detective, not a consumer. Most people read to finish. The smartest people read to extract. Imagine 2 people read the same book. One finishes it, feels accomplished, and moves on. The other marks key concepts, summarizes them in their own words, and connects them to other ideas they already know. Guess who's smarter? Reading without retention is like eating without digesting. The secret is active reading, asking questions, making notes, and challenging the author's ideas in real time. Ask yourself, how many books have you read in the last year? And how much of what you read can you apply today? If the answer is little to nothing, you might need to change the way you read. Habit number 3, speed of thought equals speed of writing. Want to think faster? Learn to write better. Your brain is like a messy room. When thoughts stay in your head, they get tangled, confused, and repetitive. But when you write them down, something magical happens. Writing forces clarity. It exposes weaknesses in your thinking. It helps you organize chaos. The world's top thinkers, philosophers, scientists, entrepreneurs all share this habit. Marcus Aurelius wrote daily reflections in meditations. Leonardo da Vinci filled thousands of pages with ideas. Even Albert Einstein, before he solved equations, wrote letters to himself explaining the problem. Try this. Set a timer for 5 minutes and write about a problem that's bothering you. You might be surprised at what happens next. Habit number 4, the power of interleaved learning. Most people study the wrong way. They focus on one subject at a time: math, history, science, thinking that's the most efficient way to learn. But the fastest learners mix different topics together in a process called interleaving. Imagine you're learning tennis. Instead of practicing only your forehand for an hour, then your backhand, then serves. The best training method is mixing them unpredictably. Why? Because your brain adapts faster when it's forced to make connections between different skills. The same applies to learning anything: languages, business, programming. If you're stuck, mix things up. If you're studying physics, throw in some philosophy. If you're learning economics, mix it with history. The brain thrives on connections. Habit number 5. Ask better questions, the ones that hurt. The quality of your questions determines the quality of your thinking. Most people ask lazy questions. How can I make more money? Vague. How can I be happier? Too broad. But great thinkers ask painfully specific questions. What are the top 3 patterns in my financial mistakes? What's the one thing that, if I fixed, would improve my happiness the most? Questions shape your mind. The deeper they are, the faster you grow. So, what's the most powerful question you've asked yourself this year? Habit number 6. The science of forgetting and why it's a gift. Most people fear forgetting, but forgetting isn't a weakness. It's your brain's way of optimizing for what truly matters. Think about it. You don't remember every meal you've eaten. You only remember the ones that were important because they were different, emotional, or meaningful. The best way to learn faster is to use this to your advantage. Space out your learning. Revisit key concepts over time rather than cramming. Use emotional triggers. Connect what you learn to personal experiences. Test yourself constantly. Retrieval is the key to retention. Your brain isn't designed to store everything. It's designed to store what matters. The question is, are you telling your brain what should matter? Habit number 7. Deep work versus shallow work. Do you really focus? Most people think they do, but in reality, they switch between tasks, get distracted by notifications, and never enter deep concentration. The fastest thinkers in history, Newton, Tesla, Darwin, all had one thing in common. They worked for hours in deep, undisturbed focus. Cal Newport calls this deep work, a state where your brain operates at full capacity. No distractions, no interruptions, pure, undiluted thinking. And guess what? This isn't about time. It's about intensity. 1 hour of deep work is worth 10 hours of shallow work. So, when was the last time you truly focused for more than an hour without checking your phone? The intelligence paradox: why the smartest people think less and learn more. What if I told you that intelligence isn't about thinking more, but thinking less? Sounds paradoxical, right? But some of the greatest minds in history, from Einstein to Steve Jobs, didn't succeed because they thought more than others. They succeeded because they thought better. They eliminated useless thoughts, filtered out distractions, and focused only on what truly mattered. In this section, we'll explore how to train your brain to think less but learn more, how to strip away noise, automate decision-making, and tap into the full potential of your cognitive bandwidth. Let's continue. Habit number 8. Automate your thinking with rules and systems. Imagine waking up every day with zero mental clutter, where you don't waste time on trivial decisions, and your mind is free to focus on big ideas. That's exactly how top performers operate. Steve Jobs wore the same outfit daily. Warren Buffett follows strict investment rules. Elite athletes don't decide when to train, they have a schedule. Why? Because every decision you make drains mental energy. If you waste brain power on should I work out today? Or what should I eat? That's less energy available for solving real problems. The smartest people outsource decisions to systems. Set predefined rules for habits, e.g., always read before bed. Reduce unnecessary choices, e.g., automate meal plans, workouts, clothing. Use if-then rules. If I'm unsure about an investment, I wait 24 hours before deciding. Every unnecessary decision removed equals extra brain power gained. What useless decisions could you eliminate from your daily life? Habit number 9. Think backwards. Invert your thinking. Most people think forwards. How can I succeed? But the greatest problem solvers think backwards. They ask, how do people fail? And avoid those mistakes first. Charlie Munger calls this inversion thinking. Instead of asking, how do I stay healthy? Ask, what destroys health? Overeating, stress, lack of sleep. Instead of asking, how do I get rich? Ask, how do most people go broke? Bad spending habits, risky investments, poor financial discipline. Inversion works because your brain is wired to spot danger more easily than opportunities. Try it. Take a major goal of yours and flip the question. What's the fastest way to fail at it? Now, simply avoid those actions. Habit number 10, train your brain to think in first principles. Most people learn by copying, but the world's best thinkers learn by breaking things down to first principles, the fundamental truths that can't be reduced further. Elon Musk used this thinking when he built SpaceX. Instead of assuming rockets had to be expensive, he asked, what are rockets made of? What do these materials cost at their raw level? Can we build our own for cheaper? By questioning assumptions, he cut costs by 90%. First principles thinking applies everywhere. Instead of memorizing knowledge, ask, what are the core truths of this topic? What are we assuming that might be wrong? If I had to teach this from scratch, what would I start with? If you master first principles, you stop repeating old ideas and start creating new ones. Habit number 11. Use the 80-20 rule for intelligence. Not all knowledge is equal. Some ideas give you massive leverage, while others waste time. The key is the 80-20 rule. 20% of the knowledge you consume leads to 80% of your insights. 20% of books you read shape 80% of your worldview. 20% of your thinking leads to 80% of your best decisions. Smart people don't try to know everything. They focus only on the few ideas that truly matter. How do you apply this? Stop reading everything. Study the most influential books in your field. Find the core 20% of skills that give you the biggest edge. Filter out distractions. Focus on the high-leverage questions. The question is, what's the 20% of knowledge you should focus on right now? Habit number 12, the power of deliberate confusion. This might shock you, but confusion isn't a weakness. It's a superpower if you use it right. Think about the last time you were confused while learning something. Most people see confusion as a problem. They feel dumb, frustrated, and want to quit. But top learners know that confusion is the gateway to intelligence. It means your brain is about to form a new connection. Instead of running from confusion, lean into it. Struggle on purpose. Work through ideas without looking at answers right away. Reframe it. Confusion equals growth, not failure. Test yourself before you feel ready. Force your brain to wrestle with problems. Your brain doesn't grow when things are easy. It grows when you fight through difficulty. So, next time you're confused, ask yourself, am I struggling because I'm stupid or because I'm getting smarter? Habit number 13, mastering meta-learning, the habit that changes everything. Now, here's the most powerful habit of all, learning how to learn. This is called meta-learning, the ability to master any skill by understanding how learning itself works. Most people try to learn blindly, but top learners study how to learn first. The fastest learners know their learning style: visual, auditory, kinesthetic. Use active recall, testing themselves instead of passive reading. Apply spaced repetition, revisiting concepts over time. Use real-world practice instead of just theory. Think about this. If you could learn twice as fast, what skills would you master first? That's the power of meta-learning. The 13-day challenge, how to reprogram your mind for maximum intelligence in 2 weeks. Now that you know the 13 science-backed habits that can make you think faster, learn better, and grow smarter, the real question is, will you actually use them? Most people watch videos like this, feel inspired, and then nothing, no action, no change. But not you. You're about to do something different. For the final part, I'll give you a 13-day challenge, 1 habit per day, applied in real life. By the end, you won't just understand these habits, you'll have wired them into your brain. Let's begin. Day 1, build your first mental model. Start by picking a problem you're dealing with. Instead of thinking randomly about it, use a mental model. The Pareto principle, 80-20 rule, what 20% of my actions are creating 80% of my problems? First principles thinking, what are the core truths of this problem? Inversion thinking, if I wanted to make this problem worse, what would I do? Then avoid those actions. Write down your insights. Congratulations, you just used mental models. Day 2, read a book like a genius. Pick any nonfiction book you're reading. Instead of just reading passively, apply active reading. Highlight only the key concepts. After each chapter, write down one insight in your own words. At the end of the book, ask, how will I apply this? This will change the way you read forever. Day 3, write for 5 minutes, no exceptions. Set a timer for 5 minutes. Write about anything, your thoughts, problem you're solving, or an idea you're working on. This forces clarity. The more you do this, the faster and sharper your thinking becomes. Day 4, interleaving practice. Mix up your learning. Instead of focusing on one thing today, deliberately mix 2 different topics. Example, if you're learning business, throw in psychology. If you're studying history, mix in philosophy. Your brain thrives on unexpected connections. Day 5, ask yourself a brutally hard question. Pick a challenge in your life and ask, what is the real reason I haven't solved this? What uncomfortable truth am I avoiding? If I had to solve this in 24 hours, what would I do? Your mind hates hard questions, but they make you smarter. Day 6, the decision diet, automate something. Eliminate one useless decision from your day. Pre-plan your meals. Set your workout schedule in advance. Reduce your wardrobe choices. Every decision removed equals more brainpower gained. Day 7, flip your thinking. Invert a problem. Take a goal and reverse it. Instead of, how do I get healthy? Ask, how do people destroy their health? Then avoid those actions. Instead of, how do I get rich? Ask, how do people go broke? This rewires your brain for better problem solving. Day 8, first principles breakdown. Pick something you're working on and break it down to fundamentals. What assumptions am I making? If I had to rebuild this from scratch, what would I change? By the end, you'll think like an inventor. Day 9, 80-20ths your life. Look at your schedule today. Identify the 20% of activities that give you 80% of your results. Double down on those. Now, identify the 80% of activities that waste time. Cut them. The smartest people ruthlessly prioritize. Day 10, embrace confusion. Learn something difficult today. Instead of getting frustrated, embrace the struggle. When you feel stuck, remind yourself, confusion equals growth. My brain is forming new connections. This means I'm getting smarter. Day 11, meta-learning, learn to learn. Pick one skill you want to master. Instead of jumping in blindly, research. What's the best way to learn this? Who are the top experts? And how did they learn it? What's the fastest way to improve? Learning how to learn is everything. Day 12, deep work challenge, 90 minutes. No distractions. Block 90 minutes today for deep work. No notifications. No distractions. Choose something important and work with complete focus. At the end, you'll feel like a superhuman. Day 13, apply everything in one day. Today is the ultimate test. Apply as many of these habits as possible. Think in mental models. Read actively. Write for 5 minutes. Automate one decision. Apply inversion thinking. Focus for 90 minutes. By the end, You won't just have learned these habits, you'll have lived them. Final thought. Intelligence isn't what you know, it's how you think. At the start of this, I asked, how often do you think about the way you think? Now, you have an answer. Real intelligence isn't about knowing more. It's about thinking better, faster, sharper, more clearly. And the best part? This is just the beginning. Your mind is the most powerful tool you own. The question is, will you use it to its full potential?